This is the Curse of Chiliasm, part 6, and this will be the last part I'll be making. I believe now, I think I've given you a description of what the Curse of Chiliasm is. It is essentially Jew worship. There is nothing in it that conforms to Christianity in terms of the revelation. So, what we are seeing now is a complete hijacking of all the Abrahamic faiths to the point where they are basically worth nothing. We are now on the tree of death rather than the tree of life. This world, or I should say this earth, Tebhel and Cheled, is what is needed by the tree of death to complete itself. It was known as Malkuth in Assiah, on the tree of life. It is now Lilith in Tohu, on the tree of death. We are seeing the end times the way things are. And this is brought about largely because of today's Jewry. Today's Jews who are mostly atheist, pantheist, or just simply apostates. And their helpers, the zionist apostate xians, who like to call themselves Christian Zionists, but there's nothing Christian about them. And they are just plain cucks. They are traitors. Traitors to God, traitors to their race, to their family, to their nation. Let's look at the issue of Jew worship. And some people may say, oh, it doesn't exist. Well, when you look at the cinemas, the TV, what do you see? Who are the celebrities? Jews. Some names, Jack Black. He's got no talent, but that doesn't count for anything because he's a Jew. Plenty of Jews. Oh, we could throw in Adam Sandler, another talentless hack. But he's a Jew and he gets on. We see it in the realm of politics. And one Jew who's really made an impact was a guy who was called Moses Mordecai Levy. What's that you say? Never heard of him? You know him as Karl Marx. Born of a Jewish mother, both parents actually are Jews, grew up as a Christian, renounced Christianity, still remained a Jew, and if you look at some of his poetry, there's a poem called Ulanem, in which he basically says what his life is about. He took the sword that it was given to him by Satan in order to wreak havoc on this world. He calls himself an atheist. Well, his God was collective Jewry. Now, being a former Satanist myself, a theistic one, I can tell you that the way we saw things actually was pretty much like the way Jews saw things. We see the world as, I'll put this to perspective. You have a pie, and everyone who's on board with you gets a slice of the pie. And the more people there are, the thinner the slice gets. So, in order to have a decent slice of the pie, you have to get people to do things for you for free. As a former theistic Satanist, remember, theistic, we could do sorcery. We had a reputation. And people come up to us and say, I'm an atheist, I'm just like you, I hate God. And we were like, not quite like us. But if you want to hate God, fight God, go for it. So they were doing things for us, and yet they were doing it for free. We weren't going to stop them. And when you look at today's Jews, with their zacks, stooges, acolytes, who just do whatever the Jews tell them to do, and don't question, just obey. You've got to ask, is there any real difference? And we say today, an issue of Jew worship would be the pornography industry, which is, in the United States, 90% owned and controlled by Jews. There's one loathsome creature goes by the name of Ron Jeremy. He makes porno movies. Good. Oh yeah, you got to get the white women in, of course. And you got the Zacks saying, oh, we're against all this, we're so holy, blah, blah, blah. And yet they cannot bring themselves to condemn Ron Jeremy, because despite all the women he's had sex with, made pornography with, he's a Jew, and he's, basically holy. Zacks are hypocrites, and I agree with the Quran in this, that the worst hell is reserved for hypocrites, and that's where the Zacks are going to end up. But, there are some issues that have to be mentioned. Now, I never wanted to say this before, because I believe all people should have a hope of being redeemed, and with God, nothing is impossible. But, have I found similarities between theistic Satanism and Judaism, today's Judaism? And yes, I have. I can tell you that one of the aims of theistic Satanism, which I did not understand at the time, was that we had to take this earth in this world, control the entire earth. It was a bit abstract for me, because I wasn't that high up. But in Satanism, you don't question, you obey. If I want to take this earth, that's a bit pie in the sky, but that's what Satan wants, the Satan, Satan. What do we have now? You have the Jews. When they say Israel, they're not talking about south of Lebanon. They're talking the entire world. They want the same thing. And when you look at Judaism, with their rituals, and they do love their rituals. There is a hell of a lot that is similar to theistic Satanism. And sometimes I wonder, if I wasn't a theistic Satanist, if I had gone to Judaism instead, would I have been better off for doing so? And when you look at the money, the power that is associated with Judaism, you would have to say yes. And you've got the Talmud, where they quite openly speak of hatred for Jesus and the Virgin Mary. And when I look at things like pedophile priests and the like, and the Talmud says it's okay to have sex with children, was there any real difference between me being a theistic Satanist compared to if I had become a Jew? And sad to say, no. But today's Jews are not descendants of the ancient Jews. Different people. Today's Jews are descendants of converts, not of the ancient Israelites, not of Moses, not of Abraham, not of any of that. These people are imposters. And you read Revelation. There will be those who call themselves Jews but are from the synagogue of Satan. This is it. This is it. We live in a world now where nothing is true and all is permitted. So, I've been thinking about this, and if that is the case, I do ask God, there's only one God. You can call him the God of the Trinity, the God as revealed by Abraham, but there is a God, and it's not the God of today's Jews. And I ask him to lead me to where I can, push things along, get people to question their existence. So I am ending the Curse of Chiliasm series here. And I'll be starting a new series in which, I've done a series about the Kabbalah, practical Kabbalah, but I think the time has come now where I tell you everything. Look, the Jews have got to go, the cucks have got to go. That's it. If I can get rid of those two, I will die happy. So, if you're serious about taking back this earth in this world and cutting down the tree of death, I will do it. I will tell you everything in relation to magic and the occult, and to hell with the consequences.